We will now move to Ms. Hardcastle for 7 minutes.
Thank you. What was the name of that social media program you just said? It's hard to me.
Bantay Bastos.
Bantay Bastos. Is that something, I don't know, is that something the international women's community, women human rights defenders in other areas are in a better position to help with? What kind of social media controls are there? It would seem to me that you are more vulnerable speaking up in the country, but if you have an international community that is remaining vigilant as well, I don't know if there's opportunity there or if it's really controlled. What do you?
Well, it would, except that the president so far has called every any international criticism also as part of the yellow army. But yes, an international support would help, but also internally. When I mean we need resources, it means we need to be able to have people who can do it full time.
Yeah,
we don't. Because people like me are doing other sorts of work. We have not yet been able, in the network that we are growing, that are determined to push back. We have not yet had the resource to even put someone to do this as full-time work. Mm-hmm. Our people are doing street action, doing research.
So is that, I'm just trying to... We're trying to look at this through a lens of like, what are some of the things that Canada can be more proactive with? So I'm not sure what the role of the UN Commission is at this point for human rights. If you think there's ways that we can be supporting that, or are there opportunities in, I don't know, what about legal defense? Or if the, sorry to cut you off, if this president isn't respecting the rule of law, is that sort of a waste of the limited resources you have then? And
No, in fact, that's why we're saying that the international arenas for recourse are so important not to give up.
Okay.
He curses them. He has cursed the ICC prosecutor. He has cursed the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights. But you're out there, so he cannot really harm you. So it's important that you keep on going. It was very well appreciated at home when several parliaments, I believe the chair was the one who sponsored the bill on Senator De Lima, because that we picked that up. We pick that up, and it gives us spirit. It gives us hope that people are not forgetting that we are getting darker and darker.
Okay. And what about the media? What about the role of the media? Or are they complicit in some of this? I'm just finding it hard to believe that a president like this can just come in and everyone's so shocked by his conduct. Well, so somewhere there was. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you know what happened to Rappler? The Maria Ressa, who was recognized. Okay. Yeah, she has so many cases now, and even her board of her board, which are also composed of private sector, have now also been filed cases. The franchises of our TV networks are which have to be renewed every few years. They are now under threat. Our major newspaper that was very critical was also put under threat. We don't believe it is an excuse for them to give up. But they have been stymied in a way, but we are very, very, very... it is good that there are media people who are standing up and doing all sorts of programs. We are... very grateful, for example, for the so-called night crawlers, the photographers who keep on documenting the killings all over Manila and continuing to publish that. Some of these night crawlers have had to leave their job to do freelance work because otherwise they would have to seek permission for the newspaper. So really, our media is also under threat. There are media people who are standing strong. I think the value of press freedom has now also raised a higher level among the public when they saw how Maria Ressa was clearly, this was all political persecution that was happening. So it is, that's the reality. The attacks are relentless and strong, but we are growing the resistance, and it is, when you talk about international support, that recognition of the work that's going on, that recognition of the human rights challenges that we are facing continuously, relentlessly, is also means so much to us.
Oh, I have 1 minute. I think you were going to tell us a little bit more about the about vilification, and maybe talk to us about how can, if let's say we get an international community together, is that something that social media can actually counter very effectively then?
Yes, and we do pick up everything that comes out from abroad. It helps. It helps to tell the people, and I think more and more Filipinos are awakening to that. That is also the truth. There is a very that there is a constituency that likes Duterte and are very loud and well resourced to do it. But I do believe that there is also the community that is saying no, he has crossed the line too many times. Are also beginning to stand up and are always being appreciate the support that comes from outside, that reminds us we are part of a community of nations that has built a regime of human rights that we were once so strongly part of.
Thank you very much.